Good morning. My name is Rick White from 180 Biz, and this is my Just One Thing. We're a coaching and training company for the independent auto and truck repair shop owners. Have you ever looked at another shop owner and thought to yourself, they just got lucky? Have you ever convinced yourself that somebody's got advantages that you don't? Have you ever wondered why some shops seem to just gain incredible momentum while yours feels stuck in the mud? These are all real questions that you guys have. You may not say this out loud, but I'll tell you, a lot of shop owners have thought it. So, you know, you don't say this out loud, but here's what you thought. They're smarter. They've found better people. Their market is easier or a better market than what I have. They caught a break, right? They got lucky. But let me ask you a question. What if luck isn't what you actually think it is? What if what you call luck is actually years of preparation, difficult decisions, uncomfortable growth, consistency, and intentional action that nobody ever saw? Why do I say that? Because I came across a quote that said what most people call luck is usually unseen preparation and effort finally becoming visible. Think about that for a second. What most people call luck is usually unseen preparation and effort finally becoming visible. Because here's the truth. This is worth writing down. Improvement is never a byproduct of waiting or avoiding. That was something I said to a client when they were kind of down in the dumps and things have been a little struggle for them. And they were looking at another shop that seemed to be so much more successful than they are. And they were just waiting for it to get better. Improvement is never a byproduct of waiting or avoiding. When you convince yourself that someone succeeded because they were lucky, what you're doing is removing responsibility from yourself. Because if they're lucky, you don't need to change. You don't have to grow or improve. You don't have to lead differently. You don't have to confront uncomfortable truths. You get to stay exactly where you are. But deep down, you already know most successful shops didn't improve accidentally. So I think that's super, super important to realize. They improved because they had difficult conversations. They created a standard for the shop. They implemented systems. They learned their numbers. They coached their teams. They fixed bad habits, and they stayed consistent while others just waited. Because here's the hard truth. You're going to very rarely ever see the sacrifices, the stress, the failures, the discipline, the long nights, or the years of intentional improvement behind someone else's success. You're comparing your daily reel to someone's highlights reel. And it doesn't look fair, but it's not real because you only see the result. And when you see only the result, it's really easy to let yourself off the hook and call it luck. I need you to understand that. So you may tell yourself, like waiting, right? Waiting for improvement. Here's what you might be telling yourself. Things are going to get better once we get through the busy season, or once we get through this economic crisis, we're going to be fine. Once cash flow gets better, I'll focus on leadership. When I finally hire the right people, everything will improve. I need time. But if you're honest, how long have you been saying these things? That's what you've really got to be thinking through, because time does not improve your business. Please write this down. Time does not improve your business. Time magnifies whatever habits already exist. If I eat one donut, no big deal. If I eat a donut every day for 10 years, it's a big deal. So if you're accountability or you're avoiding, if you're avoiding stepping up as a leader or having a difficult conversation or implementing a process or getting some training or learning your numbers, your business is not going to naturally improve. It's going to drift. See, the reality is you can survive for years without improving. You can stay busy without getting better. You can work harder every year while your frustration continues to grow. And the reason is because motion is not progress, stress is not productivity, and experience alone is not wisdom, right? You got to learn from that experience. Repeating the same year over and over again is not growth, it's frustration. See, and the dangerous thing about waiting is it feels harmless. But here's the thing, while you're waiting, your standards decline, your frustrations build, profit leaks, and your team culture weakens, and your exhaustion grows. When you avoid difficult conversations, you create resentment and low standards. When you avoid a process, you create chaos and inconsistency. When you avoid your numbers, you create fear and uncertainty. When you avoid leadership, your team drifts. When you avoid change, your competitors keep evolving while you stay stuck. But here's the thing, rust never sleeps. A vehicle sitting untouched does not preserve itself. It deteriorates. And your business works the same way. Your shop is never standing still. It's either improving or it's declining. So I want to give you a framework. I call it the action framework. If different results, you need intentional action. So here we go. You ready? So first thing, you're going to assess honestly. You're going to ask yourself, what problems keep repeating? What am I tolerating? What conversation have I been avoiding? What truth have I refused to confront? You cannot improve what you refuse to acknowledge, okay? The C stands for choose one thing. You do not need to fix everything today. You need focus. Choose just one thing to work on. It might be your inspections. It might be morning meetings. It might be advisor communication. It might be your KPI reviews or estimate follow-ups, invoice audits. But you got to understand that small, consistent improvements create momentum. Next, T, take immediate action. Not next month, not after vacation, not when things calm down. Action creates momentum. Waiting creates excuses. Never leave the point of decision without taking immediate action. Super important. I, inspect progress. What gets measured gets improved. You got to track consistency, follow through, execution, behavior, and results. Without inspection, without an inspective process, improvement becomes wishful thinking. That's what I need you to understand. If you're not inspecting what you expect, then you're just dreaming, man. Next, own the outcome. Stop blaming. Stop complaining. Complain all you want. And at the end of it, I'm going to say, and so what? Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming your market. Stop blaming your team. Stop blaming circumstances. Leadership begins where ownership begins. That's super, super important. And then the N, never stop adjusting. Improvement is not a one-time event. It's a journey. It's a constant process of refinement. You're never going to arrive at where you want to be. Please learn that. It's a journey, okay? And it's just continuing improvement. Maybe the shop owners you admire aren't luckier than you are. Maybe they simply became intentional while others stayed reactive. What most people call luck is usually unseen preparation and effort finally becoming visible. And remember that improvement is never a byproduct of waiting or avoiding. The challenge then is, what have you been postponing? What conversations have you been avoiding? And what action would change your business if finally addressed this week? If you finally dealt with it? So I want you to understand the future shop that you want will never appear because enough time has passed. It appears when you stop waiting for luck and you start creating improvement intentionally. Please share this video. There are people out there that need to hear this. I get this word out. And if you need help with any of this, feel free to reach out to Rick at 180biz.com. I'd be happy to speak with you and see where we might be able to help. God bless. Have a great week and make some money. We'll see you. Bye-bye.